Welcome back to the thrilling conclusion of our journey into the golden tomb of Psusennes I. If you missed part 1, be sure to check it out. Now, let's return to the sands of Tanis, where in 1939, French archaeologist Pierre Montet stood before a discovery that would rewrite history. Deep beneath the forgotten capital, Montet and his team found a sealed burial chamber, a sight that makes any archaeologist's heart pound. It was completely untouched, pristine, and had been waiting for 3,000 years. Inside lay the forgotten pharaoh of the 21st dynasty, Psusennes I. Now, you might be thinking of Tutankhamun. His tomb in the Valley of the Kings was famously hidden by rubble from the construction of later tombs. But Psusennes' tomb survived for a completely different, and perhaps more poetic, reason. The entire city of Tanis was eventually abandoned. It faded from memory, its temples crumbling into the Nile Delta's marshy soil. This obscurity became its greatest protector. For centuries, the royal necropolis lay undisturbed, its treasures safe from the relentless threat of grave robbers who had plundered nearly every other royal tomb. Imagine the atmosphere as Montet's team finally broke the seal. The air, trapped for millennia, rushes out. The torchlight flickers, revealing not one, but a series of massive stone sarcophagi. The outer one, a huge granite behemoth, had been repurposed from an earlier pharaoh, a common practice in later dynasties. But it was what lay within that defied all expectations. As they lifted the heavy granite lid, the team wasn't greeted by gold, but by a soft, lunar glow. It was a solid silver coffin. Think about that for a moment. In ancient Egypt, gold was plentiful, the flesh of the gods. But silver was incredibly rare, often more valuable than gold itself, imported from distant lands and considered sacred to the moon god Khonsu. To find an entire coffin crafted from this precious metal was simply breathtaking. It was a statement of immense wealth and divine connection, unlike anything found before or since. The anticipation must have been unbearable. Gently, they opened the silver coffin. And there, staring back at them from the darkness, was a face of pure, shimmering gold. Psusennes' funerary mask. It is, without exaggeration, one of the most exquisite artifacts ever recovered from ancient Egypt. Crafted from sheets of pure gold, its serene features are perfectly rendered. The traditional false beard, the striped Nemes headdress adorned with the protective cobra and vulture the uraesit was all there. But it's the eyes that truly captivate you. Made of deep blue lapis lazuli and stark white alabaster, they seem to gaze into eternity, and like Tutankhamun's iconic mask, which has a youthful, almost boyish quality, Psusennes' mask portrays a mature, powerful ruler in his prime. The artistry is flawless, a testament to the master goldsmiths of a supposed dark age. This was only the beginning. As the team carefully began to unwrap the mummy's linen bandages, they uncovered a treasure trove that would rival, and in some ways surpass, the famous hoard of Tutankhamun. The sheer quantity and quality were staggering. His neck was adorned with magnificent, heavy gold necklaces, one composed of hundreds of individual gold discs forming a flexible, shimmering collar. Another, a pectoral ornament, featured intricate scenes of gods and goddesses, inlaid with vibrant carnelian, turquoise, and lapis lazuli. The craftsmanship was so fine, so detailed. It was hard to believe it was created 3 millennia ago. Golden finger and toe caps, known as stalls, covered each digit, designed to magically protect the pharaoh's extremities in the afterlife. On his fingers were dazzling gold rings, some bearing his royal cartouche, others with powerful protective symbols. His wrists were encircled by solid gold bracelets, so heavy and thick they spoke of unimaginable power and status. One pair, in particular, is famous for its intricate design and the sheer weight of the gold used. They found ceremonial daggers with golden hilts and sheaths, not for battle, but for ritual use in the netherworld. There were silver bowls, electrum vases, and an assortment of amulets, scarabs, jute pillars, and ankhs, all crafted from precious materials and placed strategically on the mummy to ensure his safe passage and rebirth. The sheer opulence was overwhelming, while Tutankhamun's tomb was filled with furniture, chariots, and everyday objects. Psusennes' burial was a concentrated hoard of personal precious metalwork. It was a king's ransom in the truest sense, a treasure chest of the finest jewelry and ritual items Egypt had to offer. But as the final layers of linen were removed, the team encountered a stark and somber reality. The damp, humid environment of the Nile Delta, so different from the dry desert climate of the Valley of the Kings, had taken its toll. Psusennes' physical body had almost completely deteriorated. His bones were little more than a fragile, skeletal outline within the golden shell that had once adorned him. His magnificent treasures had survived the ravages of time. But the man himself had not. The gold and silver remained pristine. But the flesh and bone had returned to the earth. It was a poignant and shocking discovery. Here was one of the wealthiest burials ever found, yet the pharaoh at its center was almost gone. But what Psusennes' tomb lacked in physical remains, it more than made up for in historical significance. The discovery fundamentally changed our understanding of Egypt's third intermediate period. This era had long been viewed as a time of decline, political fragmentation, and diminished power. The capital had moved from the south to the north, and many historians assumed that the grandeur of the new kingdom was a thing of the past. Psusennes I proved them wrong. His tomb was a dazzling declaration that even in an age of division, the pharaonic ideal was very much alive. The artistry, the wealth, the mastery of metallurgy, it was all there. The artisans of Tanis hadn't lost their touch. They were still capable of producing works of absolute perfection, fit for a god-king. Psusennes' treasures demonstrated a continuity of skill and culture that few had thought possible. So while Tutankhamun gives us a snapshot of the new kingdom at its height, Psusennes I offers something far more profound, a window into the resilience of Egyptian civilization. He shows us that even when the central state weakened, the heart of its artistic and religious traditions continued to beat strongly. His golden mask and silver coffin are not just treasures, they are symbols of a culture that refused to fade away, a legacy of perfection preserved in a forgotten city. The story of Psusennes I, the Silver Pharaoh, is a powerful reminder that history is full of surprises, and that some of the greatest treasures are found where we least expect them. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey into Egypt's hidden history. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button, subscribe for more adventures into the past, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. See you next time.